Hi everyone, welcome back for another layout. You can see this sketch that I'm going to be using here. I was just browsing around on Pinterest and I found this. I tried to look up who it was from. It said scrapbook.com, but when I clicked on it, it took me to a bunch of other sketches. So I don't really know who to give credit for other than scrapbook.com. So the sketch calls for two larger triangles, one on the top, one on the bottom, and then kind of a slightly larger triangle somewhere in the middle of those two. So I'm just trying to play around with my triangles and see. I'm just using a pencil to draw them in, kind of see what size I want them to be. And I'm just kind of going along. I guess the one on the top is a little slightly smaller and the two other ones are a little bit larger. So I'm just trying to draw them, see where I want them to fall and how big I want them to be. So now what I'm going to do is my goal is to trace them onto copy paper, so then I can trace the copy paper onto my pattern paper. So I'm just making my lines darker right now so that I can see it through the copy paper, and I just erased that one line so I wouldn't copy the wrong line. So here I am, and I'm just going to draw a circle at each of the corners and then draw my triangle. That's plenty easy enough. So I'm just going to again draw each triangle on this copy paper. And then what I am going to do is I'm going to take this copy paper and cut the triangles out of it, and then I'm going to trace that onto the pattern paper. So if there's an easier way to do this, I don't know, but this really didn't take too long. So this is called Chalk It Up by Close to My Heart. It's a very old collection. I'm not sure if it's still available, but it's kind of a school-themed collection. I've had it for quite a while. So I decided to use this arrow paper, this black with the stars, and then this coral pink color. And I really like the way those look together. So here I am. I'm going to cut out my largest color, and I want to use the black stars as my largest triangle. So I am going to trace it on the opposite side of what I want to show so that no pencil lines will show. So I'm just going to cut out all of my triangles from the copy paper. And I'm not worried about tracing these lines onto the pattern paper because you can see me, I'm just cutting really fast. And then I'm going to use my trimmer to make the lines straight. So I have it's not a perfect triangle by any means, but it worked for me. And here I'm going to realize that this arrow paper is on the same opposite side of the pink paper. So I'm going to go ahead and cut both of those triangles out of this paper. And again, I'm just quickly cutting them out, and then I'm going to even them out with my trimmer. This is a Fiskars trimmer, by the way, and I love this thing. It's a lot like the Creative Memories trimmer, and I do have one of those, but this one cuts a little bit larger papers. So I'm just flipping this 12 by 12 paper over so that the pencil lines are on the opposite side, since I basically know where I want the triangles to go. I just wanted to draw them on there so I could figure out the sizes I wanted them. So I absolutely love how this layout turns out. It's really, really pretty. I'm so excited about this layout. So I'm inking all my edges and I'm going to lay them down, and the middle triangle there with the arrows on it, I was a little bit bummed because I wanted it to be bigger, but when I put the photo on there, I realized immediately that I wanted my photo to go there, so I was fine with the size of the triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and glue each triangle down, and I wasn't sure which side I wanted to point up there, so I am going to use my T-square ruler a few times on these triangles that go in the middle of the page because I wanted them all to be fairly straight. So sorry you're going to see my head poking in a few times on this layout. I did get a new camera, so I do have to adjust where it is at a little bit. So now I am looking for a paper to mat the back of my photo, and I was originally thinking black since I have the black star paper at the bottom, but it just didn't stand out enough with that photo. So I thought maybe if I added a real thin border of another color, and this collection did come with some cardstock colors. I liked the way the blue looked with that photo, but I didn't like the blue with the layout. So ironically enough, I didn't think the green would look good at all, but it looks really good. So I'm going to go with the green. And here what I'm doing is I'm just trying to get everything out of my way, and I'm just going to cut it out of the middle And that way I can have the whole 12 by 12 sheet, the leftover pieces, in case I want to mat my entire layout on that piece of cardstock paper. I hope that makes sense. So I have it and it's not wasted anyway. So I'm just going to trim that down because I just wanted a really thin border. So I'm going to trim that down, and I thought originally that I was going to put the black paper behind it, but I don't end up doing that. I just wasn't crazy about it. But I did want to add a little bit more black around, so I'm going to cut a smaller triangle, and I just took one of the triangles I had already cut and just didn't cut as large of a triangle. I just used the smaller edges, if you saw what I did just a moment ago. I sped up this video quite a bit because it was getting quite long. And then here I wanted to cut a triangle out of this paper, but I wanted to be aware of since it was so busy and had a bunch of different sayings, I kind of wanted to make sure I liked what was in the triangle after I cut it. So that's why you saw me cut it out of the middle of the paper instead of just along the edge. So I cut those ones out, and then I'm going to play around a little bit with where they are going to go. Still kind of checking the sketch a little bit, but I really like how this is going, so I don't follow the sketch too much from this point on, other than just all the triangles on there. I don't know who did that sketch, but I think it's a really fun sketch. I have never really done a layout with so many triangles and stuff before, and like I said, I absolutely love how this turned out. So I glued down those two other pieces, and then I wanted to add a little bit more of this coral pink around, so I'm just going to cut another small triangle out of this paper, and then I'm going to make the edges straight on this. So I hope my voiceover is doing okay today, and I hope everything I'm saying is making sense. It's Tuesday, 9:30 at night, and I wasn't sure I was going to make it today with my video, but I was bound and determined because it's Tuesday. So been a very busy day. Anyway, so these are the chipboard pieces that come with the kit, or you could buy them like separate. I can't really remember, but they coordinate. And I thought maybe I would try these starbursts, but I knew right away, I was like, yeah, that doesn't look good. So I wasn't really sure what I wanted to add, but I knew that I liked the photo there, and I knew that I liked that pink triangle piece. So what I also knew what I wanted was, I have a stencil, and wouldn't you know, I'm going to go through almost all of my stencils before I find the one that I'm looking for. But I knew that I had one from an old Scraptastic kit. When you used to get the Scraptastic kits, they would send a free stencil each month that was unique to them and exclusive to them as like a thank you gift. And I knew that one of them had triangles on it, so that is what I'm looking for here. And see, I'm at the very last of the pile. This is the very, very last, and oh, there it is. So I was happy that I found it, though, because I was starting to worry. I thought maybe I could try one of these other ones, but I didn't. Yeah, they're not going to make it. I like the triangle one the best. So my original thought was that I was going to add black modeling paste, but I also knew that I wanted to add black just triangle ink. As you will see me doing through here, I'm just going to put the ink through the stencil with my blending tool. I'm going to take a minute to cover up the ones that I don't want with washi tape, though, because, yeah, otherwise it'll go everywhere. So I'm going to cover up the ones that I don't want with the washi tape, and then I'm just going to push my ink through with my blending tool. And you will see in a moment how cool that looks, how cool the triangles look. Oh, look, isn't that so cool? So I really like that. And some of the triangles on this stencil are solid triangles, and some of them are just like a broken outline. So it's not like a solid outline, obviously, because it's a stencil, you can't have the inside piece, but it just gives a little bit more added interest. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to I did the one on the bottom right, and now I'm working on the left part of the photo here, and I'm going to add those in. So I'm just trying to get rid of the little pieces that were around on the layout. So I have this die cut that says, "Life's great challenge is to become who you are meant to be." And I thought that was really a cool saying, and I just kind of knew, you know, my teenage daughters have struggles girls nowadays, there's a lot for girls to go through nowadays. So I thought that was perfect for her because she's really come a long way. Senior this year, going to graduate, and it's so exciting. So I really liked that die cut, and I've had that maybe at least 3 or 4 years. I don't even know where I got it from, but I wanted to add that as that's basically going to be the title. So I'm just popping it up on foam tape, excuse me, with some foam tape, and I'm going to pop it up with foam tape. Sorry, I got distracted for a minute there. And that's going to basically be my title right there. I inked the edges, and it's just going to go right there to the right of the photo. So I really like that. Now, what I'm looking for is a different color of modeling paste. And this, I saw this and I knew right away. This is, I think it's called Viva Decor Modeling Cream or something like that. And I have quite a few brands of theirs. I have some Dazzlers modeling paste, and I have a bunch of these Viva modeling paste. And I really like this type of modeling cream or modeling paste because it dries really fast. I mean, it doesn't dry right away. It does take 2 or 3 minutes, but I know that it does not take very long at all. Of course, I don't always do mine too thick either. So you could see me putting the stencil down, and I just covered up the ones that I didn't want to put the cream through with some washi tape. And so I added some triangles around in that bottom right corner, and now I'm going to add some triangles around with these black ones in on the left side of the layout here. And by the way, the color of this modeling cream is champagne. And what I really like is that this gives just a little bit of added dimension and really pretty color. You can see in the end in the close-up videos, I took a couple of close-up pictures for you guys. So you can see the really pretty color. It went really well with those 2 pattern papers with the arrow and the other one that's just kind of a crazy pattern paper. The color went really well with those. So I knew that I maybe wanted a 3rd cluster, so I went ahead and added some of that modeling cream up in the top right. And I'm going to let it dry for a few minutes before I add some more of the black triangles. So now I'm going to play around. These puffy stickers were also another thing you could get with the kit or purchase separately, either way, but I'm going to play around and add a few of those around. There were these little arrow-like pieces, and I'm going to end up putting those above the title, just kind of a way to lead your eye to the page. And that black triangle / arrow piece with the heart in the middle that just fell off the layout there, that is just an acrylic piece, and I believe I got that in an old Scraptastic kit a long time ago too. So that is going to go on the layout right there too. I think that it went well in that spot. And then this chipboard piece, I think it says looking good. I'm going to add that there. And then I like the star down in the bottom right. So I am just loving how this layout is going. And see that modeling paste at this point, it's touchable. I'm sure if you pushed really hard on it, it might not be 100% dry. But I mean, it's only been a few minutes, and it's already, I can put this stencil on top of it to go ahead and do my more black triangles up in that section. So if you want one, if you don't have the patience to wait for a modeling cream to dry, try out one of these. I think I started with like their white color or some kind of silverish color, and ordered a few more once I realized how quick they dried. So and it only takes a minute or 2 to clean up the stencil and stuff with a baby wipe. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these pieces down. I thought those chipboard pieces might be stickers, but they weren't, so I ended up tearing off the back of that one. So now I'm going to add this little puffy sticker that says XOXOXO on it. And the layout is really coming together at this point. I wanted to add some blue up in this cluster since I had the blue chipboard looking good and the blue star down below. I'm just going to glue the star down now. So I added that star up in the top right. And I'm just holding this one down for just a minute so it'll glue or stay in place. And just going to play around with a few more. I thought about this black star, but it doesn't make it on there. It was just too much black. And then I thought about this green chipboard piece, So it's going to go up here on the right. I thought that brought a piece of the chipboard to each of those 3 clusters. So that helps lead your eye around. And I tried this little puffy smiley face sticker, but I think that it was just too round and didn't go anywhere. But I was trying to add a little bit of pink up into that top right cluster, so, because each cluster has pink in it now, that I wanted to do that. And then I found this different color. Originally, the 3 arrow pieces I had toward the photo, I think one of them was black, so I just took the black out and swapped it with the other color. I hadn't seen that arrow in the first place. So I added that pink heart up at the top right cluster, and that is going to add a pink in each of the clusters. And then I felt like it needed just one more cluster, so I cut out the cleaning of my stencils and everything, but I added some black triangles here in this area, and now I'm just going to add a little bit more of the modeling cream or modeling paste. I'm not really sure if there's a difference. I googled this just really quick now so I could tell you what it was. And it said modeling cream, but it had a fancy name. So you can kind of see how little bit shiny it is there too. It's such a pretty color. Would be really good for weddings or something like that. But anyways, so now I have that cluster there, and I'm just going to play around and add a couple of the colors. I wanted to add a pink in that cluster and a blue. I play around with the chipboard letter, or excuse me, a chipboard star, but it was just too big and really drew too much attention to that cluster. So it is not going to make it on there. But I love how this looks. And what I'm going to do now is add October 2015. And I do not know who these stamps are by. I got these at my local craft store for my Project Life albums, and they have different ones, October's, months, days, or anything. So thanks for sticking around. I hope this voiceover wasn't too horrible, being it's so late on Tuesday. But here's a couple of close-ups where you can really see the shiny prettiness of that modeling cream. So all right, I hope to see you guys on Friday. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.